Hey everyone, it is Rachel and I'm here for another episode of Lift and Sketch with Christy and Rachel. Today we are working on the sketch that was shown just before this introduction part started. It is by Brenda Ragsdale and it's very cool looking. So I'm going to be working with these two 4x4 photos of a sunset and I thought this would be perfect to use with my August Clique Kit, which is the Pink Paislee Summer Lights collection. So I am going to go ahead, get you on fast forward, and start with these two photos and see what we can make of that sketch. So hopefully everyone will enjoy. If you have any questions, you can leave me a comment and I promise I will try to get back to you quickly. All right, folks, I'm going to go ahead, put you on fast forward. Remember, the volume just can change, so just be aware of that. So let's get going.
Okay, so I thought this paper was just absolutely perfect for this line. It does come from the Pink Paislee Summer Lights collection. That's part of my Clique Kits. And it has like a photorealisticness to it, but just not realistic coloring. So it's got the big purple sky and then the aqua ocean. And I'm going to stick, as per my usual, pretty much to the basic elements of the sketch. Meaning I'm going to have this big diagonal piece. I'm going to use that polka dotted branding strip as the base of that piece. I'm going to layer my two photos over each other. I'm going to have a big fishtail pattern paper piece along with a vertical pattern paper piece and then a smaller horizontal pattern piece on top of that. Other than that, I take my interpretation of the sketch. So in the sketch, there's three elements along that diagonal piece. I don't use circles or hearts. I don't remember exactly what's in the original sketch. There's a tag hanging underneath that diagonal piece. I don't use a tag, but I use something else. So there are ink splotches in the background. I don't use ink, but I use something else. So as per usual, I'm sticking pretty close to the actual sketch. So I've got this aqua and white striped paper, but it's not like solid stripes. They're more like they were hand-drawn stripes of aqua and white, and that's going to be my fishtail banner piece. And then I'm going to use this polka dotted paper that's also the same pattern that the branding strip is made up of, and I thought that was it was cute, and that way it brings both those patterns into both sections of my layout. And I'm also going to grab that yellow tone-on-tone seashell pattern paper, that yellow one, and that's going to be the horizontal piece behind my photos. Now, I do grab this cut part that says the ocean is calling because it's pictures of, well, technically it's Long Island Sound, so it's not exactly the ocean, but hey, it's water. It's close enough. Once I do that, I consider using just the edge of that Hey Girl Hey tag, but I find this frame that says every moment's matter, and I'm not one to use frames around my photos. Instead, I tend to use them as layering pieces. So that's actually what I'm going to end up using in this particular layout. I am also using, I believe that is pumice stone, distress ink to ink up all of my papers. The background paper has such a purpley gray tone to them that I want to make sure all of my papers had that as well. So I am going to use my distress mini foam tool thingy and ink up all of my papers. Now, as when I do quite a bit of layering, I do what I always do, and that is once I have it there, I work from the top down, and I put, well, in this particular time, I'm inking, then gluing. I work from the top down, gluing each layer as I go down. Apparently, I felt it was very important that I use a lot of glue, particularly right now. But once I do that, I find I'm able to keep my papers or my embellishments or whatever it happens to be in the area I actually want it, rather than having it not end up the way I particularly like it. I don't always follow this rule, but for the most part I do. So I'm happy with the way this is looking, so I'm going to go ahead, get some glue on there. Well, a lot of glue on there and get that down. And then I'm going to go up to my top little area and I'm going to get that down as well. I'm going to ink up all of this, including the frame. Even though, so you'll know I'm not doing all of it. I know I'm going to trim off the top portion of that and not use it, so I didn't bother inking it up. So once I get my branding strip inked up, I'm going to get my diagonal piece inked up. So I will tell you, while I'm doing this, I will tell you the story of this particular layout. Now, I tag along with my best friend, and her mom lives on Long Island, and so we take the ferry over, and normally we come home on a Sunday afternoon, probably around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so we never see the sunset. This particular one, I happen to have Monday off, so we're like, well, why don't we stay later? So we stayed later, and it was just the most beautiful sunset, and we actually would not have seen it except that some weirdo, not weirdly, I'm sure she wasn't actually a weirdo, she was just someone who wasn't thinking, left her bag unattended on the deck. And so the crew person asked all of us to move over to one side of the boat so they could, I don't know, have clearance. I mean, heck, if it actually was a bomb, we all would have, we were on a ferry in the middle of Long Island Sound. It probably would not have ended well. But it was just a lady who went to go get food and didn't want to bring her big suitcase with her. So anyways, we did get to see a beautiful sunset because of it. All right, moving back to the layout, I've got all that top portion glued down, and I'm going to use 3 sticker embellishments across that left-hand part of the diagonal strip. Now, I thought it would be cute, rather than use 3 hexagonal stickers, I had already used one of the stickers, so I just trimmed out the piece that was left over, so you just get a holographic frame. And then I pulled out from the die cut pack this little purple shell, and I'm going to go ahead and ink it up, and I'm also going to pop it up on a Stampin' Up! Dimensional, and just that way it brings a little depth to that upper corner, and it also just adds a little bit of interest rather than just 3 flat stickers. So I was very happy with the way that turned out. I was like, oh, that looks very cute. I am super awesome. Alrighty, I've got that all set, and now I'm just looking through the stickers and seeing if there's anything else I want to add from them. I pull out this floral strip, and it says, let's just stay here forever. And then I'm also going to pull out 2 of the holographic phrase stickers, and those say, summer is magic and follow your bliss. And I decide I'm going to move that floral stripe piece up to the top there rather than down at the bottom, just so there's 3 in a row, because I'm going to put my title kind of going from the top of that left-hand side photo to where the ending of it is now. So my entire title is going to be Sunset on the Sound. So I'm going to do the words sunset and sound in this coastline font that came with my Clique Kit, and then the words on the in a smaller font from Simple Stories Snap in kind of a corally pink color. So what I'm doing now is I have 1 S, but I need 2. So I take the number 8, and I learned this from Kelly O'Black. She learned it from somewhere else. So she's like, I didn't think of it. I got it from, I think she said Sarah Swan. Turning 8s into S's by just trimming off where it joins up in the center on the upper right and lower left hand. So I figured I would do that with 2 8s rather than 1, so that way they would both look kind of funky rather than having one look like an actual S and one look slightly funky. So, excuse me, once I get those down, I am going to look for a font to use for the rest of my title. At first, I think about using these white Felicity Jane ones, but because there's a white stripe in the paper that they're going to rest on, they're not super readable. So I decide instead to work, as I mentioned before, with these corally pink snap ones from Simple Stories. Now, once I get the once I finish my title, there isn't a ton left for me to do. I am going to do my journaling, and I'm going to do it right where the sketch has me do it in the first place, which is down that diagonal stripe. And as I mentioned before, I'm just talking about how taking a later ferry led us to be able to see this beautiful sunset. And, you know, it was quite the experience. It was so pretty. I mean, obviously, you know, the photos don't do it justice because I'm taking it with my phone. I don't have like a special camera to take pictures of sunsets. I mean, it was pink and it was purple and it was just so beautiful. Oh, we were so excited to have seen it. And then once I finish doing my journaling, I'm going to do something that scares me. Sequins are not my forte. It's not that they scare me. They always stick to my fingers and they never land where you want them and they're not adhesive like an enamel dot. I'm much more comfortable with an enamel dot than I am with a sequin. So basically what I'm doing is I'm sticking my hands in, I'm just kind of flicking them out. I am sort of so these came in my Clique Kit, and they have pink and blue and hot pink and gold, and they also have these iridescent seashells. So what I'm doing is I'm pinching part of them shut so only a couple of them get through, and then just shaking them out, because sticking my hand in and trying to flick them didn't work super awesome. I will say, in the end, I love the way they look. They turn out perfectly, but obviously they are not the world's easiest thing to work with for me. So once I get them where I want them, and I'm just kind of shaking them all out and shaking them all over, and I find this is easier than just, I think they end up looking better just kind of landing where they land rather than me trying to, you know, this one goes here and this one goes here. I tried that in another layout and it didn't work. It looked awful. So now I'm using my tweezers and my liquid glue, and I am going to glue them all down. I save you from that. I glue them off camera, and the last thing I'm going to do to finish this up is spatter some Jenny B blue, and that's simply because the majority of those were pink and I just wanted a little bit more aqua in my layout. Alright folks, that is going to be it for me, except apparently I'm going to do something to that piece. I think I was making it a little shorter. I don't know exactly. I just did something to it. I don't remember. I'll be totally honest. Alright folks, that is going to be it for me today. Please make sure you check out Christy's take on this sketch. I will put a link to her channel over below the description box. Have a great day everyone. Bye!